Hello, my friends, and welcome to another story time with Creekwood Christian Church. We're so glad that you're here to hear another story. Before I read today's book, Fry Bread, I thought that I would read a note from the author about this book as it'll help us read this book a little bit better, okay? So the author writes at the very end of the book with a lot of explanation, but I'm just going to read a quick couple paragraphs here. The story of Fry Bread is the story of American Indians embracing community and culture in the face of opposition. It is commonly believed that the Navajo, or Dene, were the first to make fry bread over 150 years ago. The basic ingredients may appear simple: flour, salt, water, and yeast, yet the history behind this community anchor is anything but. Despite colonial efforts throughout American history to weaken tribal governments, fracture indigenous communities, and forcibly take ancestral lands, Indian culture has proven resilient. In strange, unfamiliar lands, exiled natives strived to retain those old traditions, and they created new ones, especially for food. Survival meant adapting, and those ancestors, isolated from familiar meats, fruits, and vegetables, got by with what they had. Without the familiar indigenous crop of corn, historic farming practices and dietary traditions drastically changed. Many tribes trace the origin of modern Indian cooking to this government-caused deprivation. From federal rations of powdered, canned, and other dry government-issued foods, fry bread was born. So, that will help us kind of understand where the author is coming from in reading this book. It is certainly a wonderful tradition that we want to honor, and one that might help us understand a little bit more about First Nations or Native American people. So let's read about some of the fry bread that is cooked here. It's a really sweet children's story, and I'm sure you'll all enjoy it. Fry bread is food: flour, salt, water, cornmeal, baking powder, perhaps milk, maybe sugar, all mixed together in a big bowl. I'm already hungry. Fry bread is shape. Hands mold the dough flat like a pancake, round like a ball, or puffy like Nana's softest pillow. Fry bread is sound. The skillet clangs on the stove, the fire blazes from below. Drop the dough in the skillet, the bubbles sizzle and pop. I can almost hear it now. Fry bread is color: golden brown, tan, or yellow, deep like coffee, sienna, or earth, light like snow and cream, warm like rays of sun. That does sound wonderful. Fry bread is flavor: sea beans or soup, smell tacos, cheese, and vegetables, delight in honey and jam, rise to discover what brings us together. That's a beautiful idea. What brings us together? Fry bread is time. On weekdays and holidays, supper or dinner, powwows and festivals, moments together with family and friends. Fry bread is art: sculpture, landscape, portrait, our daily craft shared from teacher to student, a cycle of heritage and fortune. It's a really wonderful way to pass down tradition. Fry bread is history: the long walk, the stolen land, strangers in our own world. With unknown food, we made new recipes from what we had. Fry bread is place: Alaska, Kansas, all the way to Maine, down to Delaware, on to Georgia, over to Oklahoma, Colorado, and California. Cities and lands we call home. All across North America. And really here, the United States are where they're listing. I'm going to do my best to pronounce these names. I looked them up, but I may have messed up, and I'm so sorry if I have. It says Fry Bread is nation. Abenaki, Apache, Arapaho, Ojibwe, Onondaga, Oglala, Sioux, Narragansett, Navajo, Nipmuc, Seminole, Shoshone, Sac and Fox, hundreds and hundreds of tribes. I believe the author at the back of the book said there's over 600 tribes in North America. Fry bread is everything. Round, flat, large, small, north, south, east, west, brown, yellow, black, white, familiar and foreign, old and new. We come together. In all shapes and sizes, colors and forms, no matter where they are, they're still united. Fry bread is us. We are still here, elder and young, friend and neighbor. We strengthen each other to learn, change, and survive. Fry bread is you. The end. And what a beautiful book of a reminder of a Native American family story, as it says here in our book. Fry bread is a wonderful story. And you might be asking yourself, well, Jonathan, we don't have anybody in our church who is a First Nation family. And you're right. However, it's important that we hear stories from all walks of life and different folks from across the world. And this is certainly a part of our history in the United States, and certainly a story worth hearing because it allows us to hear different views and different perspectives, and perhaps brings issues to the light so that we can continue to fight for everyone, because indeed all are welcome. And if we're going to be a people who fight for all are welcome, we need to make sure we know the stories of all. So, beautiful story. I highly encourage you to check it out, and particularly read the back of the book where there's a lot more detail on each of those things about time, about family, about the story of a Native American family and how it's food and its shape and all those different words and sound that we heard throughout this book. And he goes into greater detail in the back and the history of that story. So check it out. And until next time, remember that you were loved, and remember that you were kind, that you were a beloved child of God, and to remember to be kind, do good, and love your neighbors. Bye, friends.